Hey y'all, it's Southern Sleuth again, and it's time for another Nancy Drew analysis. Which breed of dog would each Nancy Drew video game character have? This is video 5 of I don't know how many. We'll just keep making these videos until her stops putting out Nancy Drew games. So if you haven't already watched video number 1 about this series, go back and take a look for some further context. It's the one about the main Nancy Drew characters. I'll link it in the description below. Once again, we're spinning the wheel to determine which Nancy Drew game we're analyzing next. So if you watched the last video, you'll know that I did spin the wheel a little early so I could start working ahead, which means I already know that we're hopping on a train. Hot dang, all aboard! Last train to Blue Moon Canyon. Please note that this video will contain minor spoilers due to the nature of these characters' roles. So if you have not yet completed Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, I do recommend skipping this video and waiting for the next video. You can just go back and watch the first video twice, and the other videos as many times as you want. Alright, leave this video in 3, 2, 1. Let's get sleuthin', y'all. Let's start our train right off with the socialite herself, Lori Gerard. Her only real drive is to be famous, but she rarely does anything worth that privilege. Flashy is her middle name, and creating schemes is her game. Her publicity stunts never end up going her way, and actually usually result in the opposite effect as far as her reputation goes. Perhaps she needs some good PR by way of adopting the cute pet. However, as she is all about fame and fortune, she is not going to settle for anything besides an expensive, flashy dog. After some minor internet searching, I found an expensive breed that begged to be paid attention to, the Samoyed. Looking like a giant Lilo, this fluffy white dog can cost even up to $3,000 if you want one with a good pedigree. While it may not be the most expensive one out there, Lori would definitely make up the difference in all the diamond bedazzled collars and leashes she could find. The Samoyeds are very sociable dogs and would bode well for someone who wants to be in the limelight. They can also be very stubborn and set in their ways, which seems to fall right in line with our little choo-choo celebrity. Next up on our train is Lori's ex-boyfriend himself, the man we love to hate, Tino Balducci. It makes perfect sense why Lori and Tino dated, and also why they didn't work out. They are far too alike in their desires to have the attention all on themselves, and are willing to obtain it by almost any means necessary. But neither of them actually know how to handle the fame. Tino will keep up his appearance by any means necessary, even if that means lying about his famous arrest. Therefore, if he was to get a dog, it would have to be one that continued his appearance as a good police detective and not one that would risk detracting from that image. For any of you who were hoping I was going to give him a poodle or a tiny shaking chihuahua, prepare to be very disappointed. Tino is a police detective, and what do policemen get? German Shepherds. Disappointed at the simplicity of it? Well, what if I told you that any future arrests Tino makes are actually going to be made by his well-trained German Shepherd, and all the attention begins shifting from Tino to his brave, intelligent dog. If you've ever seen Monsters, Inc., I imagine it going like Mike and Sully, where the dog ends up on the front page sitting beside Tino, and Tino gets the 50% off sticker slapped on his face. The Shepherd would be more intelligent, more courageous, and more obedient than Tino, but would also give him some unconditional love not related back to his accomplishments. Perhaps a companion who would just love him for existing is exactly what someone needs who feels his self-worth is tied to his accomplishments. I mean, don't we all? Did I make you feel something for Tino right there? No? Okay, moving on. Our famous romance novelist is up next, Charlena Purcell. Although she wrote Wind Through My Heart about Shadow Ranch, she doesn't immediately strike me as someone who really likes to get dust on her boots. She's an observer who writes about other people's experiences without fully even embracing them herself. A calm pet would do her far more good than one that needs an excessive amount of exercise, attention, and adventure. She needs someone that will sit at her feet while she's writing her next novel, and who knows, maybe that next novel will be surrounded by dogs and focus on the romance between two dogs. I mean, there's a couple movies out there like that. She could just rewrite Balto or something. I'm sure she could have her new spin on it. So in order to find her the perfect dog breed, I actually put into Google dog breeds for novelists, and the #1 dog that popped up, interestingly enough, was a Japanese Chin. They are more cat-like than dog, which might suit Charlena's needs of having kind of a lap dog while she types away. They are intelligent dogs just as she is, and they are so intelligent that sometimes they end up digging their nose in where that shouldn't be. And I'm assuming that at some point in her career, Charlena has definitely asked a few too personal questions. But they're also both intelligent enough to put together all the little history facts that make her historical romances come to life. The Chin can also be extremely sensitive and does not take well to harsh words and negative training. Charlena doesn't seem to be a big fan of people who aren't a big fan of her. Neither one of them takes too kindly to negative reviews. Speaking of people who aren't that big a fan of her, John Gray definitely falls into this category. With a job that attracts more skeptics than believers, John tends to be more divisive than agreeable. He spends more time with his recording equipment than he does other people. He likes to control the situation and do things in his own way on his own time. While a dog that barks a lot could really hurt his ears in the long run if he has on his super sensitive headphones that we're not allowed to play the piano on because heaven forbid he paws them for just a moment. Whatever. A dog could alert him to sounds he might not know when starting to record otherwise. I mean, dogs do have better hearing than we do. Who knows what sort of recordings he could find if he just stopped and paid attention to his dog. For a while, I've been trying to find someone who a beagle could go with, because they're adorable and someone had to have one. Did you grow up with Shiloh like I did? So I ended up deciding to put the beagle with John because of its sensitivity to sound and highly alert nature. The beagle's even temper might help to balance out John and keep him more level-headed in his investigations. But their high energy levels mean they can both handle it when John stays out all night trying to make the next big discovery in his field. Which one of them will hear the call of discovery first? Well. Hot dang. You didn't think we forgot about Fatima, did you? Can we please get a remastering of Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon where Fatima was the culprit all along? Who knows the mountains and valleys better than she does? Wouldn't it make perfect sense for her to have orchestrated the whole train and put it on Lori's radar so she could begin the expedition, and even got Charlena on the guest list so she could meet one of her favorite authors? And which dog could keep up with Fatima on her climbs better than a Bernese Mountain Dog? They're built for hard work and absolutely beautiful, just like our Fatima. They have the sweetest nature and really do love being sociable. It's easy to get them excited too, just like Fatima. They could sit on the edge of a cliff and read the latest Charlena Purcell novel, while the doggy wags its sweet little tail, just happy to be involved. What do you think someone like Fatima would name her dog? Bernie? Let me know in the comments. Alright, we're at our last stop. Time to get off this fur-filled train and get back to our normal lives. I don't know, maybe go read a historical romance or something. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and giving me a follow. You can also find me on Instagram under the same name. I really would love to hear your thoughts in the comments about what other breed these characters might go with, or if you do have another character that you feel very strongly about, put that in the comments as well, or message me on Instagram. All suggestions that I use will get referenced in the description of each video. Thanks for sleuthing, y'all!